Thank you for attending the Cannabis Investor Webcast. We'd like to thank our platinum sponsors, Cannabis Pharma Incorporated, Naturally Splendid Enterprises Limited, Cabinet Grow Incorporated, Medical Marijuana Incorporated, Lexaria Corporation, and Future World Incorporated. We would like for you to reserve the date of May 23rd through May 25th, 2016 for our Cannabis Publicly Traded Companies Investor, Analyst, and Media Conference in Atlanta, Georgia. Again, that date is May 23rd through May 25th, 2016. And the conference website is www.cannainvestorconference.com. One more time, www.cannainvestorconference.com. Our last presenter today is John Dochardi. He is the president of Lexaria Corporation.
Very good. Can you hear me okay, Derwin?
Yes, we can hear you fine.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. As Derwin said, my name is John Dochardi. I'm president of Lexaria Corp. I want to start by thanking Derwin for this opportunity to present the Cannabis Investor Webcast. I'm very happy today to have this opportunity to speak to all of you. I'm going to tell you who we are, what we do, how we do it, and where we're going next. So to begin with who we are, Lexaria Corp is a Nevada corporation. We trade on the OTCQB under the trading symbol LXRP. Our corporate offices are in Canada, and our distribution and operations are in the United States, distribution in Arizona. And we're also on the CSE in Canada under the trading symbol LXX. Before I get into the details, just to highlight for everyone that this presentation obviously contains certain forward-looking statements with associated risks and uncertainties. For full description, I invite anybody to visit our available information on SEDAR or EDGAR. So, what do we do? Well, at our heart, we are a maker of nutritious, healthy lifestyle, cannabidiol or CBD infused foods that are specifically engineered for superior performance. I want to emphasize for everyone that this is really a new entry for us. We've been in this business now really since the second quarter of this year. Prior to that, Lexaria had its roots in oil and gas, which we concluded debt-free and moved into the food biosciences space, as I said. Tell you a little bit about our people. Our CEO, Chris Bunka, who unfortunately couldn't be with us for today, he has been CEO and chairman since 2006. Chris is a serial entrepreneur. He's got extensive experience in several public and private companies dating back to the 80s. Did very well in oil and gas, and today is our largest single shareholder at Lexaria with almost 10 million shares, or 24% of the company. Myself, John Dochardi, my background, I joined Lexaria in March of this year, so I'm one of our newest additions. I have a 20-year career spanning pharmaceuticals and biopharmaceutical sectors, both with large and small startup companies. I was formerly president and COO and on the board of directors of a Canadian public biotech with a valuation at its peak of $230 million. And my focus is really on the development of drug delivery systems for challenging molecules, for which reason I'm a named inventor on several patents. Our CFO, Bal Buhar, joined the company in 2008. She has 20 years of experience in the financial and risk management sectors. She was past president of the BC, British Columbia Risk Management Association. Tom Erkey, he has been with Lexaria since 2008. EVP and president of our tea company subsidiary since 2014. Tom heads up our tea product sales and distribution activities, and I'll tell you all about our teas very shortly. And he's got an extensive background in financial and capital markets. And last but certainly not least, our newest addition to the company, Ted McKechnie, joined our board of directors. He's a very significant addition for Lexaria, past president of Maple Leaf Foods in Canada, a $3 billion company, Kraft, PepsiCo. He's extremely well connected to the food sector throughout North America and will be vital as we take our steps in the coming months to expand our distribution and sales activities across the U.S. So now I'd like to tell you a little bit about our technology. So at our heart is technology. We use our formulation technology, which is designed to essentially enhance the uptake of cannabinoids and other bioactive compounds by the gastrointestinal system. This is subject to pending patent applications with priority dates dating back to 2014, and we have patent applications filed both in the United States and internationally under the Patent Cooperation Treaty with a view to patent coverage in up to 146 countries worldwide. How does our technology work? Well, what we do is we combine a cannabinoid, in the case of our marketed products, the cannabinoid CBD, with fatty acids, for instance, sunflower oil. And we do this at a molecular level using a proprietary process, and the goal of doing this is twofold. One, to increase the palatability, because cannabinoid compounds are generally recognized as, especially CBD, being very bitter, distasteful, and oftentimes integrated into products with sweeteners and other agents to offset that distasteful quality. Our process masks that very effectively without the need for sweeteners. And secondly, to enhance the absorption, as I mentioned moments ago, in the intestines, which is really the heart of what our technology is designed to achieve. In terms of hemp oil, well, as we've heard other presenters today say, it really is a tremendous compound, a superfood, if you will. It is rich in cannabidiol. It has many very beneficial properties, chief of which that we focus on are the facts that it is able to relieve pain, is able to have anti-inflammatory effects to relieve inflammation, and it has effects that are anti-anxiolytic or anti-anxiety to relieve anxiety and stress, all without having any psychogenic or high-inducing effects, which is very, very attractive as a compound for mass usage. In addition, cannabidiol has a wealth of additional benefits, such as anti-cancer properties, potent neuroprotective effects, and it is thought to be one of the most powerful antioxidant compounds. And I'm only touching on some of the many benefits of this truly multifaceted and wonderful compound. Other presenters mentioned that it is worth noticing that the U.S. government has a patent that is very relevant for cannabinoids. This patent makes note of the fact that cannabinoids have multiple uses due to their mode of action and how they function, some of which I've already mentioned. Others include effects that are thought to be potent at relieving neurodegenerative disease, such as Alzheimer's disease, Parkinson's disease, and HIV dementia. It's also worth noting that one of the other benefits of, say, cannabidiol, for instance, is that it has anti-dyskinetic properties that helps with movement disorders in general, such as advanced stages in Parkinson's. Here you can see our product that is for sale nationwide in the United States. This is under our brand name Vipova. We sell a cannabidiol infused black tea as well as other flavors. Here you can see the black tea. We sell it both in a loose leaf format in the tins that you see, and we're transitioning now to selling it primarily in a tea bag format, which you can see in the center of the screen as a bag that would contain 8 tea bags for consumers to utilize. Our CBD infused black tea was launched in Q1 of 2015. We focused initially on direct-to-consumer and affiliate sales strategies. We established a wholesale sales force in Q2 of this year, as I mentioned earlier. And in Q3 of this year, just very recently, we launched 6 additional flavors: Earl Grey, Herbal Cherry, low calf options, and chai teas as well. So in total, we have 7 different tea flavors that are on sale today in the United States. Here you can see one of the ads that we run where we convey to the prospective buyer the benefits pictorially, and we give the fact that this can be bought nationwide through our call center, as well as where we have it selling in retail opportunities, which I'll speak about in a moment. I always like to emphasize that what we are doing at Lexaria really is intended to, in many ways, transcend the marijuana or medical marijuana market space, in the sense that our focus are CBD-infused products derived from legally imported hemp oil, and therefore we are able to sell nationwide. Here you can see where we already have penetration with sales across the U.S., and this is growing rapidly on a daily basis. I'd like to point out that one of our highest priorities at Lexaria is quality and quality control. We use only the highest quality Scandinavian sourced hemp oil. Our product formulations utilize organic ingredients, and all batches, both of our raw material that we source and then of our batches that we produce, are QC tested according to ISO and IEC for cannabinoid content and profile, whereby we verify 9 to 12 milligrams of CBD per serving size, and we make sure that we are under the federal limit for THC. We also test for heavy metals, microbial content, and pathogenic bacteria. So here you can see really the crux of what it is our technology and our approach is intended to address. I like to say the problem with cannabinoid absorption. So typically when folks use cannabinoids through inhalational means, whether smoked or vaped, cannabinoid bioavailability, or the amount of cannabinoid that can be accessing the bloodstream after you smoke or vape a cannabinoid product, is around 30%. By comparison, according to the literature, cannabinoid bioavailability from conventional ingestion, which is your typical edibles of THC or CBD, falls dramatically to only 3 to 6%. So there's a significant difference in how much one normally absorbs from the stomach, which is why smoke or vaping is still the predominant way people utilize cannabinoids today. So what we really set out to achieve at Lexaria with our technology was to evidence and demonstrate that our technology not only enhances the palatability of an edible format, but can dramatically increase the amount of cannabinoid that can be absorbed in the intestinal tract relative to conventional or standard edible formats. And we were very, very pleased to announce last month the conclusion of laboratory study work that we had performed at a third party to test exactly this. What we did was we had a third party, a pharmaceutical laboratory that conventionally does pharmaceutical testing, perform an in vitro study. The study took our commercially available Vypova black tea and compared it to strictly prepared concentration matched controls, meaning the controls had the same amount of CBD as did our commercially available product. We utilized human small intestinal tissue. We sourced this from a common commercial source, a validated model, in order to test the absorption, in other words, how much CBD crossed from one side to the other side, penetrating the intestinal tissue. And it's important to note that this experiment was conducted using a simulated intestinal fluid buffer. Again, very common in experiments of this nature, which gives us confidence that the data we saw, which I'll show you momentarily, is related to our expected mechanism of action. Here you can see the first control, the relative absorption. What we did here was we simply took pure CBD isolate. Some folks today use pure CBDs in their product, CBD isolates, and we simply prepared it in water and took multiple samples and measured the relative penetration. The second control was our hemp-derived CBD, identical to which we put in our Vypova tea, plus our black tea, and we even used our proprietary processing methodology named in our patent applications, but we did not include our formulation enhancements, which are really core to our product. And here you can see the absorption with that control. And finally, here you see the absorption with our Vypova CBD infused black tea, our commercial product, relative to the others. We were very, very pleased to see that there was a dramatic and significant increase in bioabsorption relative to control group number 2. Our Vypova tea demonstrated a 325% improvement in absorption, and relative to control group number 1, almost a 500% improvement in bioabsorption. So, ladies and gentlemen, this really told us that, at least in an in vitro study, that what we have in terms of the technology design seems to do as we expect and as we see anecdotally in an experimental condition, clearly showing not only does it improve absorption relative to just CBD and water, but that we did see a marginal increase in that absorption when we incorporated our process, and then a full increase in that absorption when we incorporated our process and our formulation enhancements. Where are we going next? So very important next steps for Lexaria will be the launch of sports nutrition products. We intend to launch a CBD infused protein energy bar. Folks, this will be the first of its kind in the world. We're not aware of anybody else with a technology such as ours to enhance bioabsorption with a protein energy bar format. We actually announced just earlier this week that that will be launched on November 3rd, so Q4 launch. And given the many benefits of CBD, we expect significant demand by fitness enthusiasts for a product of this nature, whereby relieving pain and inflammation, improving concentration will be paramount to the ability to train more regularly and with less detriment stopping you from training effectively. Moving into 2016, we intend to launch a line of sports energy drinks as well as the protein bars. Here you can see the labels for the protein bars that, as I mentioned, will be launched on November 3rd. We're starting with 2 delicious and exciting flavors, cashew berry date and chocolate berry date. I'm sure you can see the CBD, implicit in the name of the products. These bars will have very distinct applications for health and fitness enthusiasts. The cashew berry date bar, as you can see, relative to the chocolate berry date bar, the cashew berry date bar is intended to be designed to be slightly lower in the amount of protein. The chocolate berry date bar, by comparison, is intended to be higher in the amount of protein. And the reason for this is athletes and enthusiasts will benefit principally from the cashew berry date bar as a pre-workout or a morning bar, and the chocolate berry date bar as a post-workout or afternoon evening bar intended to promote physiological repair after intense exercise. Not only are these bars intended to be rich in CBD with the potent benefits of CBD, but we also think that the ingredient profile and the nutritional facts for these bars put them on par with any top bar on the market today. These bars are all natural, vegan, and gluten-free. Talk just a moment about the competitive landscape. Competition is certainly expected from others in the cannabinoid edibles marketplace. Most companies that we're aware of do not have proprietary technology that is designed to enhance intestinal cannabinoid uptake and offset palatability concerns. So this is what significantly differentiates Lexaria. To our understanding, only a handful of companies are leveraging delivery technologies, but those are primarily focused on the THC or marijuana marketplace. By comparison, we're focused on CBD, and we intend to get a foothold and advance in that marketplace initially. And I do like to note that something very important to us is our plan to form licensing agreements with firms that are producing, say, THC edible products as soon as practical, because our technology could be equally applicable for THC as it is for CBD. And in simple terms, our technology could allow other companies to do one of two things: either increase the potency of their edible THC product, for instance, because we increase absorption upwards of 5-fold, or it could allow companies to decrease the amount of THC they're currently infusing in their edible products, but still have the same potency, again, because we increase absorption upwards of 5-fold, which would have significant benefits to these companies in terms of profitability and profit margin. Here's a little bit of information on our sales channels. As I mentioned, we began with web-based sales and direct-to-consumer sales, branched out to include immediate affiliate sales activities. We also, of course, focused on channel and field sales opportunities. We now sell product in numerous dispensaries in California, and we announced today that we are expanding to dispensaries in Oregon and Colorado imminently. And very significant for Lexaria will be to graduate to selling products in large retail chains. Again, we can sell our products nationwide, and with the addition recently of Ted McKechnie to our board and the expertise that brings, we are looking now to evaluate opportunities to branch into significant retail distribution. Just a few comments on out-licensing. As mentioned, we are actively evaluating opportunities to license our product for THC edibles. But I also like to focus that we have very significant additional compounds named in our pending patent applications: nicotine, NSAIDs like ASA, ibuprofen, lipophilic or fat-soluble vitamins like vitamin E. These are all named in our patent applications, and we've demonstrated formulation ability to do so. These are products with a market exceeding $1 trillion, very significant markets. Each of these compounds in their own way, we think, would be amenable to edible formats with a variety of health benefits and compliance benefits for consumers, where our technology could enable the right partner to develop an edible format of any one of these products. Little information on our share structure. As of October 1st, we had just under 40 million shares outstanding, warrants just over 7 million, options 3.6 million, so fully diluted about 51 million. I mentioned at the outset that we trade on the OTCQB under LXRP and the CSE under LXX. Recent share price was 18 cents, high low 4 to 27 cents. We have decent trading volume on a daily basis, about 150,000 on the QB and 80,000 on the CSE, which is attractive from a liquidity standpoint. And we have a market cap of about $7.2 million. And finally, just looking at some of our recent performance metrics, dating back to March, you can see where I came on board with the company. We expanded our patents in early June with the filing of the additional molecules. I didn't spend time on this, but we did sell a previous MMPR license application that we had, and we also continued and moved forward with the announcement of the intestinal absorption data just last month, which was quite exciting. So overall, you can see the company has been trending nicely. At that point, I just wanted to conclude by saying to everyone again, thank you for this opportunity to speak to you all. If you are interested in our products, by all means, contact either myself or Chris Bunka. If perhaps you're an accredited investor and are interested in participating in our current financing round, which I can speak more about directly with you, also contact us. And now, Derwin, that concludes my presentation. I'm happy to address any questions the group may have.
The first question is, what timetable can you give on decision on patents? When are you going to start the next set of independent lab testing?
Thank you. Good questions. First, I'll answer the patent question. So a key moment that is coming up for us is publication of our patent applications. That's a process that the patent offices control. That will happen probably around December, January timeframe. Thereafter, we enter into the office action process, and really that is not something we control in terms of timelines, but the process from when office actions begin until patent issuance can range anywhere from 1 to 2 to even 2.5, 3 years. I'm sorry, can you repeat the second question, Derwin?
Second question, when are you going to start the next set of independent lab testing?
Thank you. Yes, that's something that we're very, very excited about. I did mention that we are actively involved in a capital raise, and subject to raising capital, we look to proceed to one of our most significant use of proceeds being additional laboratory testing. Because of the fact that we tested in that first in vitro test a simulated intestinal buffer, this gives us a lot of understanding of our mechanism of action and makes us feel that it would be very beneficial to graduate possibly to in vivo studies, meaning not in vitro, but in a living creature, say animal studies. So subject to fundraising, we look to be moving into those types of studies as soon as possible as a significant valuation creator for the company.
Next question. This is regarding shelf space and retail. How do you acquire shelf space in retail in the retail market?
Very good question. So granted, thus far product distribution has been DTC, web-based, and we are on shelves in dispensaries in say, California, for instance. So in that aspect, we have a contract sales force that we utilize who are going dispensary to dispensary, and we're going to be expanding into Oregon and Colorado, as I mentioned, as announced today, with a view to get our products on the shelves and for sale in those channels. On a larger scale, of course, given the fact that these are hemp-derived products that could be sold in small to large retailers nationwide, we will be, of course, speaking with the individuals who make product acquisition decisions for some of these retailers. Certain retailers, for instance, with 300 to 400 locations across the U.S., have 12 to 15 individuals who control product decisions for that mass market. We will be going one by one to these individuals with a view to getting acceptance for our product and shelf space for our product. And I really just wanted to note that this is one of the main reasons, as I said earlier, that we brought Ted McKechnie on the board with his wealth of expertise and knowledge in the retail sector, his ability to give us contacts to retailers we're going to be targeting and to negotiate that process is going to be vital.
Okay, John, let me see if I can understand this question. Cannabinoid absorption rate after smoking was 30%. Ingestion was 3 to 6%. So what would be your absorption? I guess this is asking what would be your absorption rate?
Good question. So the reason we show the data in that fashion is obviously we show the published literature data. So if a typical edible is somewhere in that, say, peak 6% absorption, and smoking cannabinoid compound is somewhere in that 30% absorption, what we certainly hope, although we don't have in vivo data for this yet, but we hope to be able to interpret from our in vitro data that the upwards of 500% increase in absorption that we saw in vitro could be applicable, therefore, in an in vivo situation. So the short answer is, if that pans out in vivo, as we hope it will, we could see, and this is theoretical, we don't have the data, but we could see absorption increase in an edible that we formulate from 6% to 5-fold more than that, theoretically. And this is what is really so exciting for us, because in theory that places our absorption from an edible near, if not on par, with the absorption that you can achieve in a smoked format, all with a view to perhaps making the need or the approach of smoking or vaping, other than if it's a personal preference, no longer a necessity if we can achieve similar or par absorption with an edible format. This could be very exciting, not only for cannabinoids, but for the other molecules we mentioned.
The next question, in your sales progression, what were the markets that the company had to hit before moving into the next stage of sales? Online, partners, etc. So I'll read that one more time. In your sales progression, what were the markets that the company had to hit, the markers, I'm sorry, what were the markers that the company had to hit before moving to the next stage of sales? Online, partners, etc.
Well, I mean, we have started with the initial formats of DTC and boots on the ground going to these dispensaries. There were no particular markers we had to hit in these spaces before graduating to the next space, not a dollar marker, not a sales or revenue amount. Rather, what we are endeavoring to do is create awareness and acceptance for our products in the most immediate and relevant space, which is the medical marijuana dispensaries, where people are knowledgeable, educated, and aware of cannabinoid products. And now that we've started to create some awareness in that space, as the industry has in parallel with us, it's more of a time issue. Now we see as the appropriate time with the appropriate resources to move into the larger sales channels. So it wasn't dollar-driven. It's driven by education and bringing the products forward in a fashion that mass acceptance will be there.
Okay, next question, John. Could you make any health claims on your packaging?
So this is a very important question in the space, and claims are a very important thing to be cognizant of. Products of this nature are going to be scrutinized by authorities. If you make a health claim, and especially if you make a claim that relates to curing or mitigating disease. So with that understanding, I come from a long background in regulatory affairs in pharma and biopharma with extensive contacts at the agency. With that understanding, we are not making direct health claims on our labels, and I showed you some of our product labels in the presentation today. However, there is some tide in the industry where people are starting to explore what types of claims they may be able to make. As of yet, we have not made any health claims, direct or indirect, on our labels.
What percentage control of production facilities do you have?
Good question. You know, we are very cognizant of not wanting to put money in the wrong places. So we endeavor to control the core aspects of our production, meaning that we control in a facility that we lease and utilize the essential aspects of our infusion process, where we utilize our technology to infuse core or base ingredients in our product format. After that, the product goes to co-packers on a contract basis that we work with any further formulation beyond our core ingredient, if applicable, as well as for final packaging of the product. And then the product comes back to our distribution, which is through our group in Arizona. So in short, we sort of control the front end and the back end, but we use co-packers for everything in the middle. And the other thing I would say is simply that this is important for us so that we control the aspect of our process that is dependent on our proprietary technology, and we let co-packers and experts in the space control the aspects that are generic.
Next question, what is your capacity for production?
I guess what I'll say today is currently our capacity is much larger than we have as yet achieved for sales. So our capacity is good. We know we can handle you know, growth and continued growth of our products. We do look to increase our capacity for certain moving into 2016, where we anticipate significant increased demand for our product as we move into these larger retailers. However, I just want everybody to understand, again, we work at a level of infusing a core ingredient in some cases, and that does not necessarily mean that we have to be able to produce the full product in its final format. The co-packers that we use for that purpose have limitless, well, practically speaking, have very large capacity, more than enough for any production needs we would have even for large retailers.
Next question is regarding competitors. Would Dixie Elixir and Creative Edge Nutrition be competitors? I think they're asking, and I would think the same thing. I didn't realize that a lot of the competitors are THC edibles. So so is Dixie Elixir and Creative Edge Nutrition your competitors? And are you the biggest CBD edibles company out there?
Good questions. There are certainly a number of competitors in the space. Some of the companies that are out there are focused exclusively on THC. Others have products that have marijuana-derived THC and CBD, but because they're marijuana-derived, they are constrained to selling in the state where they manufacture. Other companies are focused on product formats that aren't necessarily the same as us, such as CBD in simply oil or tincture format for placing, say, under the tongue. So I guess what I'm saying is that companies like Dixie, for instance, very significant company in the space, they certainly have products of that nature, but we are not aware of, say, Dixie having a technology comparable to ours for purposes of increasing bioabsorption and offsetting palatability concerns. So that is where we differentiate ourselves, and we don't consider that to be, therefore, a direct competitor on a technology level.
Next question, what about private labeling to existing bar manufacturing? Licensing the technology, ? When will patent be issued? Best guess.
Okay, I think there's a couple of questions in there. First of all, private labeling. So what we're looking at right now, when I say licensing, what I mean by that is the following. We have our technology. We have validated the technology to a certain extent with in vitro data. We are speaking to companies who sell THC-infused edible products, and our view is to strike, say, licensing arrangements with a number of these companies, since they operate in individual states, so that they could utilize our technology in their formulation and then sell an enhanced version of their formulation powered by our technology. Think of us as the Intel inside, if you will, for improving other people's product formats. So naturally, they would be continuing to label their products with their labels, and starting to tout the enhanced performance with respect to our formulation enhancements. I think the second question there was regarding the patent timeline, if I heard you correctly, and I think I mentioned previously patent publication, expect that December-January timeframe, and then the process of prosecution will proceed as expected. But I do like to remind everyone we have a very, very strong patent attorney. Naturally, we've done patent search before filing applications of this significance, and we believe we have evaluated thoroughly the space and our uniqueness in terms of what we anticipate for prosecution, and we certainly hope that progresses favorably as we have analyzed.
Okay, I guess the next question is, what do you see as the next catalyst for the company? But the question is, what do you see as near-term, future coming events that could significantly positively impact stock price?
Good question. So one event that I mentioned already is the fact that in November, we've even gone so far as to say our date, November 3rd, we will be launching our protein energy bars. We think this is a very significant development for our product, for our company. This is going to be a product that definitely transcends the medical marijuana sector, in that our first launch of a product of this nature will be largely to the health and fitness marketplace, where we think this product is not just the benefit of CBD, but also the tremendous benefits of the other aspects of the formulation. So we think this is a catalyst for Lexaria in terms of significant upcoming event to broaden our product portfolio. Another very near-term event that we mentioned in a press release today is the fact that we have completed manufacturing of 2 additional product formats that will be sold under our Vipova our Vipova trade name. One is coffee, the other is hot chocolate. So the production aspect that we control is completed, and we're now in the co-packing process with a view to launching those 2 product formats very, very soon as well, and we'll update the shareholders respectively with respect to the date. But in short, these 3 different product launches are all expected in the near term, and we think these will be catalysts for growth of certainly our revenue and of our value. And finally, I'd just like to add that subject to completing our funding, which has been publicly announced, as someone asked earlier, we do look to move on to much more data from analytical testing, possibly even in vivo testing, and we think that will also be a significant catalyst for the company in the relative term.
Next question. It seems like many are focused on the CBD aspect. Isn't the NSAID, vitamins, etc. the major kicker here?
Yeah, thank you for raising that, everyone. Absolutely. We as a company, if I have to say in a sentence where we are, we're starting as a CBD company. This is the company we are. These are the products that we are developing organically with a view to launching and generating revenue from in the near term. But much, much more than that, we're a technology company, and license applicability of our technology far eclipses what terms of product and or penetration one would expect elsewhere. Because license applicability of our technology, both for THC in the cannabinoid space and NSAIDs, lipophilic vitamins, and possibly even nicotine, these are established, extremely large markets, and each of those respective markets, NSAIDs, vitamins to a certain extent, and nicotine, have drawbacks in the way they are formulated and sold today. I mean, it goes without saying that smoking to access nicotine is certainly not a healthy choice, whereas nicotine does have some prospective medicinal benefits if only it could be developed and delivered in a superior dosage format. Similarly, NSAIDs, potent anti-inflammatories, potent analgesics, but many people have stomach upset and other issues and general reluctance to utilizing pills. So yes, to the person who asked the question, we think an NSAID potential format in an edible with the right partner, of course, who's expert and experienced in developing and launching a product of that nature could be very significant.
Next question. Any thoughts of making the coffee and hot chocolate available in K-cups for Keurig machines?
That's a good question. All I can say today, folks, is we are evaluating a number of packaging formats, and as soon as we make the decision which one or ones we will be launching, I look forward to updating everyone on that. I see benefits certainly to the K-cup. Obviously, it's a format that allows somebody to easily make it quickly and conveniently in their place of business, at their office, or where have you. So convenience is very important, and that is a reason to consider that format for certain.
Well, thank you, John. That concludes our Q&A session. Any last comments on Lexaria Corp?
No, I'll just wrap up saying to everyone, thank you for taking the time to listen to my presentation today. If anyone out there is interested in our products, by all means contact us at the contact details you see here. If anybody is interested in participating in the company and the raise that we're actively doing, by all means contact us, and you know, we think we have some exciting product formats and prospects on the horizon. Thank you very much, Darwin.
Well, thank you, John. That concludes our presentations today. Thank you for attending the Cannabis Investor Webcast. Thank you, John.
Thank you.